This is the New York Sports Machine on WICR.
Hi there, this is Sam Garcia alongside
John Nickus.
And we're back with the Sports Blast podcast. You know the podcast we have every week? Yep, we're back at it. So this week we're gonna talk more about hockey. Hockey
Right.
playoffs. It's that time of the year, you know?
The playoffs have already started.
That's what I'm saying. I hear that. The first game I'm gonna talk about is Chicago Blackhawks versus the Predators, I believe.
Yep.
And it was a pretty good game actually. I saw some of it. Predators went up 3-0. Corey Crawford did not play a good game at goalie at all. And Blackhawks saw that and they yanked him. They took him out the game, and they replaced him. And then they came back, tied at 3-3. Stayed tied through to overtime and in double overtime. Keith Duncan actually scored the game-winning goal for the Blackhawks on the road, which is big. You know, they took over home field advantage, home ice, I guess you say.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, and and it's gonna be big for the series. What do you think?
I agree. That was absolutely a bummer for the Predators right there. I thought they played an incredible game, actually. I mean, besides losing the 3-0 lead, even in the first period, the first overtime and the second overtime, it was just crazy. It was back and forth, and it looked like the Predators actually had the momentum most of the time. But, you know, a shot by Duncan Keith makes its way from the blue line and somehow past Pekka Rinne, and that's it. But, you know, I would say that if the Predators won that game at home, they had a good chance of winning the whole series. And there's way more games left, but still, it's like that's a big game to lose, and, you know, momentum is shifted probably to Chicago now.
I feel like, especially since the Blackhawks seem to just do it every year.
Yeah.
You know, they seem to just they drag the feet through the regular season, and in the playoffs they show up. You know, every year.
Every year, it's almost like the Kings. Even though the Kings didn't make the playoffs this year, if they did, you know, they did make it by 2 points, I believe. But if they made it into that final spot, you know, anything could happen in the playoffs, and the Kings have showed that in the past, not long ago. Coming into the playoffs as the last seed and winning the Stanley Cup, they could easily do it again, but they didn't. And the same goes for Chicago. They'd like turn a switch on once the playoffs start, and it's incredible.
What about the Canucks Flames game? What do you think about that?
The Canucks Flames game, that was another great game. In Vancouver, Vancouver's the higher seed over Calgary. The Battle of Canada there. There's actually two Battle of Canadas in the playoffs going on right now with the Montreal Canadiens and the Ottawa Senators. But back to the Vancouver Canucks versus the Calgary Flames. It was a great game. Vancouver took the lead early, I believe, in the second or towards the end of the second. Then Calgary came back, scored a goal, 1-1 for most of the third period. And then Calgary, Russell scored a shot from the point with 29 seconds left in the game. So, you know, they must have been really disappointed there, all the fans in Vancouver. But that was the game winner right there, held up as a 2-1 score.
I feel like that's huge because, like, you know, the Flames are on the road.
Yep.
You know?
They're underrated, too.
Yeah, and, you know, and, like, especially since you said it's the Battle of Canada, you know, they're splitting fans, you know. There's going to be fans coming from, you know, from the other arena, stuff like that. And, you know, but the score with 29 seconds left, that's how you steal momentum for a series.
Yeah.
You know, that's what gets you pumped up for the rest of the series, you know. And I think that could have a huge impact. Even aside from the fact they won the game, is how they won the game, I think that could have a huge impact for the rest of the series.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
All right.
What about the Canadiens Senators?
Canadian Senators, okay. I just love playoff hockey because the first game for the playoffs, Canadians Senators, another Battle of Canada, and man, this was a wild game. I believe they just went back and forth. I watched some of it, but they were going back and forth, scoring goals left and right. The Canadians took the game 4-3, I believe, over the Senators, and there was just a whole bunch of things going on. There was a lot of feistiness. You know, PK Subban got ejected from the game for slashing Mark Stone, the exceptional rookie.
Playoff intensity, huh?
Playoff intensity, that's right. So Ottawa's best player right now, Mark Stone, potentially. Actually, news just got out that he has a microfracture in his his arm or his wrist or something, so he's potentially out for the rest of the series, and that would be a huge loss for the Senators. And we'll see what happens to PK Subban. He's an excellent player. One of the Canadians' best on defense. He's so offensive too, and it's possible that he gets suspended here. And that would be a big loss for them, too. Yeah. But, it's like you take one of our players, we'll take one of yours.
Yeah, I hear you. I want to transition a little bit to the Capitals-Islanders, where the Islanders kind of blew out the Capitals last night.
Yeah.
My question to you is, is that, an indication for, how the rest of the series is going to be? A blowout like that, that could shatter a team's confidence in the playoffs. Do you think that's going to, really affect them for the rest of the series?
I don't know. It's a little too early to tell just because of that one game. Yeah, the Islanders blew out the Capitals 4-1 in the first game, and yeah, the Capitals had home ice advantage at the Verizon Center. But the Capitals, yeah, they didn't show up, but they're still a good team, and we'll see how the next one goes. But the Islanders, they're scary because they started slumping towards the end of the season, and now first game of the playoffs, it looks like they played a great game, so you never know with them because once they get momentum, they could really do some damage.
I hear you. So I think the game that a lot of New Yorkers are looking forward to, at least for tonight, Rangers Penguins. You got Nash and Lundqvist and them boys against Malkin and Sidney Crosby and them boys. So what do you think is gonna happen tonight? Do you think it's gonna be a close game? Who do you think is gonna win?
Well, I believe the fan speculation is that the Rangers are 90% chance that the Rangers win the series, and Rangers come in as the best team in the league. Penguins doing really bad towards the end of the regular season, so they're coming in. Maybe they've changed their mindset, and they're gonna be really good, but we don't know. The game's tonight. Nash needs to step up. They said he had the flu yesterday. Which is weird because usually the flu takes a while to go through your system, but they announced they had the flu yesterday, but he says he's good to play tonight. So that's a little weird, but hopefully he can step up. What else? Let's see. I think that the Rangers take the series. Tonight's game, I think most people are expecting the Rangers to blow the Penguins out just because.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think it'll be a lot closer than people think.
I mean, they still have the star power, Even though the Penguins are not as strong as they used to be, they still have arguably the best player in the league in Sidney Crosby,
Yeah.
If Sidney Crosby's healthy, the Penguins seem to go smooth.
Yeah, and Malkin's a game changer too.
Exactly.
The only problem is they have a lot of injuries on their line.
On their back line, correct?
Yep.
Specifically, right?
The
defense is hurting a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And Tang's out, Ehrhoff's out, Olli Mata's out. They got a bunch of problems going on with their team right now. But we'll see if they step up or not.
Yeah, and that'll be the biggest problem with the Penguins. Especially the Rangers can score. The Rangers can score, and if you give them the opening, they're gonna take it and they're gonna take advantage of it. So we'll see how that goes. But that's about it for this podcast this week. This is Sam Garcia alongside
John Nickus.
And we'll see you next time. Peace.
Adios.